And welcome to the Bourbon Ballistics podcast. I'm your host, Joel Potter, and I am so excited. I've been waiting for this since I started the show. Kory Williams, the godfather of First Line Ballistics, the guy that created the entire thing. You guys, I wanted this from the beginning. He's a little shy, but we're going to have a good show. We have a lot of cool things to talk about. Kory, how the hell are you?
We're here.
We made it.
We're here.
We drug him in, yes, and it took a long time. We had to get him good and ripped off some good beers.
Definitely had a few beers, yeah.
But you're here, and that's all that matters. Tonight, we're going to do something really exciting. We're going to be drinking some Team Whiskey, the Sportsman's Whiskey. We both tried it before, so it's not new to us. They were at the wine walk this year.
Yeah, I just had a little sample.
Yeah, and we both enjoy it, so it's fun. We just thought it'd be a really good attribute to the show. We're talking about looking into an event that they're going to be doing here this spring, and so hopefully we'll be there as First Line and get to go out and hang out with those guys. And it's going to be an interesting show, I guess, kind of a sportsman's thing with a lot of archery videos, stuff like that. So, anyways, we'll get this poured up and let's talk some bourbon and ballistics. Now, Kory, I think the first question I would like to ask you while we're getting into it is if you could walk me through the thought process or the creation of the targets. If you could just talk a little bit about it.
Man, I don't know. I just had an idea, and we were shooting often. This was obviously pre-COVID. And there's nothing like shooting steel, right? So I always felt like I could, I don't know, come up with something fun. And I think we were probably drinking.
Absolutely.
I feel like we were drinking and just had an idea.
One of the things I think that's important to talk about, I mean, there's a lot of steel out there. Right. And when people ask us about what makes our targets different, is there not anything like anything else that's out on the market? I mean, there's the modularity aspect, right? One of the cool things, if you haven't checked them out yet, this is important because you're able to pack these things up into a 32-inch, 24-inch case, and basically ship these things like a little rifle bag, right?
Yeah, I mean, we came up with a design. It was kind of about trying to design it around a flat rate box, right? So trying to be able to ship them. So that's really where it stemmed from, I would say. It's trying to be able to ship them in a flat rate game board box.
We made it work.
Under, I think it was 70 pounds or something like that. It needed to be,
and that's the thing too. I think even when we first started packaging the things, there was a misconception as to actually what we were doing, right?
And what 70 pounds really felt like.
You get these boxes, and it's like, hell, that's all of, that we were talking the 60.
I think I remember the first time we dropped one off at the post office. It was like, you almost felt bad.
Yeah.
And giving it to the post lady, like, sorry,
right. And we are shipping these things. I mean, this is a shout out to Praxis down in TO, but we're shipping these things down to Southern California and to get these things ready, to make sure that they make it to in transit to show up to like showroom ready. It's been an undertaking in itself to get these things to fit in these boxes.
Lots of extra tape and I guess with plastic wrap or cellophane, right? Whatever it is,
bursting at the seams.
Yeah,
make it work, right?
Trying to make sure it stays in the box.
Now, when you first designed the product, did you see it as what it is today? I mean, the process, the design, like the evolution of what you first saw, like what did you originally see as to what it is now?
Yeah, I feel like it's pretty similar for sure. I mean, obviously we've tested it quite a bit and had a bunch of people test it, and we've found flaws and things that we needed to fix or make better or improve on. But for the most part, I feel like it's pretty much the same in a sense, right? We've beefed some things up.
Yeah, we had to, yeah.
And, our techniques in building them have changed. But in some of the materials, I'd say we beefed up some material. But for the most part, as far as the design, the concept, how it works, it's been pretty similar. We've added a few pieces or made it more modular, I would say, than what it originally was. But I mean, we first started with a couple pieces of steel or aluminum and a 2x4 and just whatever I could find in the backyard.
And I don't think we've ever shared that, but the original, like the conceptual design, like what took.
I mean, I still have it.
Yeah,
it's still there
in the back. Yeah,
it's very weathered.
Yeah. I mean, it has definitely evolved into something, and like I said, I mean, I'm very biased because being a part of the company from the beginning, I have so much heart and soul, like and devotion to what you've created. I mean, honestly, there isn't anything else out there like this, and I just wish that we were able to portray that as what it is and promote that, because it is not just your run of the mill sportsman's pile of crap steel target. You're not just getting a piece of steel that's cut into the shape of a silhouette. And that's hard for some people to swallow, because sometimes that's good enough. But what you're failing to recognize is when you're out there training, you're training for something, right? And you're just putting all your money into your guns. You're putting all your money into your ammo, but why not focus more on what you're using it for? And that's one of the hardest things to convey too, is, you're looking at this as a tool.
Absolutely, a tool. That's the first word I was thinking of.
Yeah,
tool.
And so there's two things that are very important, right? Good equipment and good instruction. And we're fortunate enough out here in Johnson Lane and Gardnerville, but we have a ton of good instructors. We're just talking to Jim tonight, and we have the opportunity, if you are in the area, to go find somebody that actually knows what they're talking about, not some fly-by-night outfit, but then have something that helps add to that, right? And so like I said, that's what you've created. You're going to spend more.
Yeah, we're definitely not selling something cheap.
No.
Your cheap sportsman's target. That's not our market at all. And it's just not going to be, especially with materials the way they are nowadays.
Yeah, and I was going to allude to that. And that's the thing too. I mean, you look at anything right now, you're looking at groceries, you're looking at gas prices. I mean, it's all relevant. And so, yes, our targets are slightly more expensive than some of the others on the market when you're out there just buying a plate of steel.
Right.
Fine. But what you are buying is something that's going to last, something that has replaceable parts. You're essentially investing in something that's going to invest. It's going to, come back to you in your training, right? And I feel like that's, you've said that 100 times. That's what you're doing.
Yeah, it's an investment. It's not a toy.
Yeah, think long term, right?
It's a tool. It's not a toy.
And you have, so, in the original idea was we had the Silhouette Steve, which is what kind of pretty much our flagship to this day. I mean,
I don't even know where Steve came from, but it was.
It's our silhouette is Silhouette Steve.
I think it just flowed, right?
It's just funny.
It just flowed.
What is Steve? Who is Steve? Who is Steve? Who the hell is Steve? Right?
Why did Steve cut me off?
Everyone's a Steve, right? And so we utilize that and then played to that Steve, right? But then he came out with an IDPA and an IPSC.
Yeah, I was trying we were trying to get into that training, right? More of a training side of it, so that people could use it as a tool for if they went to competitions or whatever. We wanted things to size and to make sure, it was reactive. I feel like the reactiveness of it's fun. It could be a challenge, right? And that's what it's about.
I think seeing the, seeing the headshot or the body shot, and seeing that thing move is probably, here in the steel, like we talked about 100 times, there's nothing like it, right?
Yeah, if you've never shot steel,
you hit your target.
If you can close your eyes and know, right? Like there's nothing like it.
And one of the cool things,
the instant gratification,
is having the different decibel levels or the tones that are coming from the target,
and that helps with the reactive side.
You know exactly where you're hitting. That headshot sounds a ton different than that body shot or the torso, right?
For sure.
So that's been pretty interesting, and seeing the evolution, I guess. We started off looking back at some pictures. the headshot being a lot smaller, like a lot more precise.
Yeah,
right?
when we first started, it was right. When you draw it up on paper, right, it's like, oh, that's plenty big, and then you get out there and you stand back 20 yards, 25 yards, you're going, man, that's tiny.
Very tiny. You got to be good.
That's tiny.
Yeah. The let's see, the IPSC headshot discontinued, right? Because it was just kind of irrelevant. I mean, it was about an inch by
it just
2
wasn't.
or 3.
It just didn't make sense anymore.
It was just too small, right?
Yeah.
But like I said, I mean that having the ability for the headshot in the silhouette, I think it makes more sense anyway. I mean, I think on competition stuff, you're not looking that way in general anyway. So it just lends to the fact that we have plenty of options. I mean, in those 2 platforms in itself, you can get the headshot, body shot, one or the other. I mean, you designed pretty much solutions for whatever somebody's looking for, right? And having the ability to want to talk about the steel poles. I mean, that in itself, I think, different.
Yeah, I mean, obviously we did a lot of testing, right? Like we were pretty lucky to live where we were at and have a lot of good gunners, right? Good people that train and really know what they're doing. Do a lot of testing for us, and us to be able to go test with them and learn a lot. I mean, we learned so much just training with them while they're, shooting the shit out of our stuff, and obviously they loved every minute of it. And I don't know. I kind of lost the question.
The origins, like when we first were going out and doing R&D. Right. I mean, we did get the opportunity to shoot with some pretty cool stuff, which we unfortunately didn't get to use for, one issue or another. Right.
A lot of it was private, right? Where they wanted to keep it private, and that's fine. We were getting good, we were getting great feedback, right? And the feedback is what we were after at the time.
And so we made a couple of adjustments after that. It's just, I mean, those days, to this day, just were so surreal. I mean, the amount of rounds that were put on.
There was a lot of rounds put down range.
As a weekend warrior, I would never in my life put as many rounds on a first line target that were put on that round in just on that target in just a couple of hours.
Yeah, it was unreal.
Yeah. And that's one of the things, I mean, when we do have, people that are just going out and doing weekend shoots, I mean, they're, like I said, we talked about earlier, they're paying a couple dollars more for our targets, but they are never, ever.
We've beefed them up.
Going to have to buy another target.
Right.
Not once. I mean, they may, and I would.
You may wear one side of it a little bit, but we designed it to where you could flip it over and wear the other side of it, right? So.
And if you get through both sides, I mean, your replacements, anything, about what you pay for that pile of shit at Sportsman's or whatever. I mean, it's like you're not into it over and over and over again. It's not, it's not like that. So the design in itself, I think, is ingenious, and I just want to take that second to.
You asked about the steel poles. That's where that went, and where I lost.
There he is.
So the steel poles came about because obviously you're not going to have the best shooters, right? You're going to get the people that jerk a little bit when they're pulling the trigger and trying to anticipate, let's say. And we had a couple incidents where our poles got shot up a little bit. It's like, okay, well, let's armor plate them a little. Let's put some armor plating down there. And that's what we did. We put some armor plating on the poles just to help the more average Joe shooter that's still learning to make sure, that it lasts. But we also have a 2x4 option.
That's right.
We have a 2x4 option in case you don't want to pay that upcharge. I mean, we try to use, our targets are expensive. There's no doubt about it. And that's prices of materials are through the roof right now. And there's nothing I can do about it.
Right.
So we just, our margins aren't there. Like, we're not making, like, I ain't retiring off this shit. We're doing it for really the passion.
Yep.
Right? Just because every time we build one, we look at each other and we drink a beer and we're like, that thing's cool, right? I want to go shoot it. Like, it's
because you did it, man. I mean,
it's
honestly, yeah.
That's what it's about to me.
So let's say, before we get in there,
we're going to go back to Team Whiskey.
This is the Team Whiskey. Like I said, I want to make sure that everybody understands this is coming right out of Tahoe. I love it. It's a 94 proof, or 93 proof, I'm sorry. And so it's non-chill filtered with Tahoe water, which is, I mean, like I said, it's smooth.
Like straight out of Tahoe water?
I hope it's not my pee water, but I'm sure they got to do something, right? The alcohol kills it off.
It's got to be filled, yeah.
But yeah, it is, it's coming straight from the Sierra Nevada mountain water. So, I mean, it's got to be good.
It's here, it's local water.
If you haven't tried this Team Whiskey, I highly encourage you to go out and get yourself a bottle. It's easy drinking. It's easy on the wallet. And
let's taste some.
Let's go. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's good. I mean, that's just, I mean, something you could just put in a flask or.
Yeah, it's good. It's I'm not very versed in whiskeys.
And we don't have to be. That's why we would have Kevin come on here and talk about the whiskey, because he could actually tell us about notes and stuff. And that's, one of the things I've never said is me being a good whiskey guy. I just like what I like, and
right.
And this is happens to be one of those.
Yeah. No,
like I said, it's good whiskey.
It's not bad. I mean, in all reality, if we're being honest here, like I just started really drinking whiskey not too long ago.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I used to drink, and if I was going to drink whiskey, it was going to be over ice. Like I wanted it chill and cold. Not necessarily watered down, but just cold. And, the more I've hung out with you, the more you've been giving me glasses without ice.
Yeah. We have some ice, but not a lot. So it's kind of, getting to the point of having a real taste of what the bottle is offering. So, like I said, this is a fun one, and they are friends of ours, and we do not necessarily drink this stuff because they're friends, but because it's good whiskey as well. So I just wanted to give a shout out to Team Whiskey and everything they're doing, their mission and stuff. That it is fantastic, and we definitely enjoy being part of the family for what we are. So we can get back into. I just wanted to at least get this going down because. It's been sitting there staring at us.
I feel like we were talking a lot and it was turning into dry January.
So we don't want I don't want dry. Not in this house, you're right? We'd hope not. But so back to your point, I mean, having the options for every budget. We
try, right?
Yeah.
We try.
What can we do? I mean, what kind of options do we have if we're heading over to firstlineballistics.com, going to the build your own site? What kind of options do we get? I
mean, if you have the ability to put a 2x4 on the ground, we have a target for you, right? I mean, we can put everything from the 2x4 up, right? We have a mount that'll hold our stuff, and you can shoot it. If you can put one of those T stakes in the ground, right? We can probably make it work.
Yep.
But our kit is really around a modular system. Right, with a foldable stand that's got stake pockets on it. It's heavy duty. It's not lightweight. It's you gotta grab onto that thing and haul it around.
Mm-hmm. We have had incidences. I mean, I think and through trials and tribulations where the directions may not have been as clear as needed, but we've
made some videos though.
We have how tos. Yeah,
made some videos.
If you're confused or questioning how it actually works, and like I said,
we made some stickers. This is the front. This is the front. This is the back on our stands.
Yeah, we've had it happen to where it just wasn't quite clear enough, and and that it's just part of us growing as a company. And
well, for sure, naturally,
nobody will know unless they've actually watched the how-to videos, which might be a little daunting. I mean, there's a pretty cool dude that does them, but the reality of it is you get the thing, you set it up, you're in and out. I mean, you could pack that thing. I mean, shit, we had the kids do it.
I mean, I feel like that's kind of where this started. Like, if we're going back to that a little bit, like you had the old Pioneer side-by-side.
We did.
And we were like, just throwing stuff in the back of it to go out and play in the hills.
Mm-hmm.
And that's really where it started.
Yep.
Right? I mean,
load up the bed.
We were loading up all kinds of stuff in the bed of that thing just to go shoot. And then we're driving up there, and all of a sudden you see different areas where people shoot. There's washers and dryers and fridges and just all this trash, right? Trash out there that people were out there hauling out there to shoot. And that's really where it started. It's like, that's terrible.
Yeah.
Right? That's terrible. Like, they're out there and then they leave it. It's not like they're taking the washers and dryers and the fridges and the propane tanks.
Doesn't work the way it did. Yeah.
All that stuff home. You know what I mean? They're leaving it out there for other people to clean up, or just that's where it started.
And for those, that are not from here, so we're backed. Nevada's fortunate enough, and
where we live.
Yes, it's shrinking. It feels like we're getting choked out, but
getting a few more white plates.
We're backed up to BLM land, and so we get to jump in the side by side and just cruise out like 5 minutes down the road. And it's a dirt road, and it's a UTV area, and we used to have a really cool shooting spot. It was a really well known, and we'd go out there and just see just rubbish. People going out there and just blowing up whatever they could, and then just leaving it there. So there's cleanup. Thank goodness there's cleanup crews that would come out there and clean it up.
Volunteers.
Yeah, out there just giving their weekends to go out there and pick up the garbage that our visitors from next door are most likely leaving here in the sticks. So anyway, so we're losing that. Because people keep screwing it up for us. They keep leaving a lot of stuff out there. So the design of the targets is essentially something that you bring with you, you use, and you take with you, and you get to keep doing that.
Mm-hmm.
Rinse, whatever the hell.
And it folded up into a bag.
Yeah,
you can
rinse,
carry
wash,
it in and
repeat.
out, right? You can carry it in and out.
And go watch the video. Honestly, like I said, there's been a lot of forethought put into these targets, and the development has come around. We started this thing right before COVID.
Yeah, that was launched terrible timing.
Right around COVID, right. And then it was just a terrible time to launch a company. But here we are. Honestly,
nobody expected
2024. So we're still alive, and we're doing our best to ensure that trying to make that mark, because once people have the opportunity to see what you've created and what we've developed, there's going to be a huge market for it. If people understand, they come into it with the open mind that you are buying this thing for life. You're not.
Yeah, it's just like you're buying any gun, right? You're buying it as an investment, right? Yep. That's why you're buying it.
You're thinking about it as an investment, and so with anything else, you're going to get out of whatever what you put into it, and so that's extremely important to understand. So I don't want to drone on too much about that, because it is, I know, go check out the links, go check out the videos. You'll understand the first line difference. And that's all I want to say about that. We have plenty of opportunities to look into events this year. One of them being the Whiskey Bonanza that Team Whiskey's putting on up at the new event center up at South Lake. And they're looking at doing a bunch of videos and promotional opportunities, vendors and stuff like that. So it's the first year of it. We just kind of started looking into it, but I think it's going to be super fun. And, we'll at least get there, get out there and have a presence. So we're excited about that. Hopefully we can get into some new R&D, get into some new product development. People are asking us for some wild stuff, some mild stuff, and anything in between.
Yeah, just takes time.
Yeah,
an investment.
Yes, and we have we're fortunate enough that we've established some flagship products, and we've kind of just we've ran with those, and they've been doing fine. Plenty of good feedback, and like I said, we're focusing on a lot of Northern Nevada sales. Southern California is doing as good. So
the challenge is the people that have our product want more.
Yes,
they want more, and it's like, okay, but I need to
It's not
focus
that simple.
on. Yeah, exactly. Right. It's not that simple.
Yeah, I would love like the Texas Star or the all these really fun things.
I mean, we have. You and I under the wraps we've built some fun stuff,
We've got some cool stuff.
But it's it's not ready. It's not ready. It's just not. So, trees and plate racks and all that kind of stuff. It's just more and more and more investment, and we got to get to where we're comfortable with what we have, right? And keep that going, and then once that is steady,
and
then as a business we can we can invest and see ourselves producing, taking that to the next level.
What the cool thing is that the stuff that we, like the prototype stuff, all utilize in the exact same component. Like that's one of my
that was the cool
favorite things. Yeah,
right. We wanted to use the same components, or similar components, right? So there's a couple things that are a little different, but we have a lot. Like when it comes to reactive stuff, we're trying to use the same reactions, right? The same reactive parts, and that's just trying to keep costs down and stuff that we already had when we were building these prototypes. We already had it on the shelf.
Right. And I think one of the things that you had discussed it is, you're not necessarily you're buying new parts, but you're not buying a new thing. And so you have the stand already. You don't have to buy another stand. You don't have to buy another pole. Like this is all kind of just sits on that same platform, which negates some of the end user's costs at the end of the day.
Right. So, and then you wanted to buy another stand and another set of poles. You can, right? So you can expand your day, right, without having to.
Yeah,
but
different target stuff. Yeah, that'd be cool.
Right.
Yeah,
but and that's the thing about everybody's got a different budget.
Yeah,
everybody's got a different budget.
We back to the point that we do try to make it to where you don't have to necessarily come in and get the top tier. You can get, if you just want a plate, if you just want a 2x4 mount, all this stuff runs off the same platform, and that in itself is should make it reasonable enough for almost anybody to come in and be a part of the family.
And I feel like that's a misconception. I feel like people don't realize that, right? I feel like people don't realize we have 2x4 mounts. Like if you don't want to buy the steel pole upgrades and all that, we have a mount for 2x4s. Like and I feel like people don't know that probably. And the crazy part is it seems like once somebody sees what we have, they buy the Cadillac or they buy the Ferrari.
Yeah.
They want all
we haven't even really sold. I mean, we have it available, right?
Right, but it's not like somebody comes in and goes, man, I really only want that. I feel like they come in and they're like,
they don't want it.
They look right past that and go, that's the Ferrari in the corner. I want that.
That's been pretty cool too. Yeah. And, it's neat getting the feedback from the customers because, we've had some really, really cool feedback. I mean, pretty straightforward. I mean, it was like,
it's pretty black or white.
Love it. Yeah. Love it. Need it. Want more of it.
Well, we haven't had any real negative feedback.
There was one incident. There's only been one incident and it was a really wild one. And, there's, you can't please everybody with the, we got the steel poles and, mild steel by nature, but covered, plated with AR, right?
Oh, right. Yeah.
So we got the one guy, and this is pretty much the only, it hurt my soul because it was the first time that somebody's been, super bummed out about the product. But, the reality of it is the
reality of it is, and I'm just going to be blunt. The reality of it is we have a steel pole system.
How tall is the top pole?
They're like 24 inches. Let's just say they're 24 inches, right?
Of AR.
And there's two poles, right? So that it makes the target height, right? The height of where we're shooting.
Yep.
I don't know the actual height of it when you put them two together. But anyway.
Tall enough.
Yeah. So say it's 48 inches plus.
You're right. Give or take.
It's 5 feet tall when you're done with it or more.
Yeah.
But he is one of the ones apparently that was an anticipation shooter. Mm-hmm. And he anticipated before the gun went off and he would shoot low. And when you shoot low, I don't know,
Yeah, and I think
we're gonna have to build him some.
He gets special poles.
He gets special, right? Special poles.
He's our special student, and that's okay. And that's a cool thing too. I mean, if you have the idea,
he's gonna listen to this probably, and one day and be like, "Those sons of bitches."
Nobody knows who he is or where he's from, so we don't actually necessarily have to say who he is. I don't know who he is, at this point.
But he's the only one we've ever had shoot a bottom pole.
Only time this ever happened.
Yeah, ever.
And to that, I think that the reality of it is if you are doing what this guy has done,
I almost feel bad right now.
You just might want to go back to the place you bought it from.
What he needs to do? I feel like he needs to go talk to Jeff or somebody or Jim and take a couple classes.
It might be time to.
Maybe that's how we need to
Yeah.
Work with our partners.
Right. And that's important too. And it goes back to the fact that we're giving you the tools.
But you know what? Everybody has to start somewhere. Everybody has to learn. Yeah. Right?
Yep. Well, that is that was
one time. Just
once. And we haven't seen it happen again. We had nothing of the sort. I mean, we've had some people that have wanted to put some really high powered rounds.
Yeah, they wanted to stand, 20 yards away from it and shoot some
you can
high velocity ammo.
Right. You can buy hunting targets from us, but that's not what he bought. He bought something a little more close range and a little less 3/8 inch steel.
Yeah, I mean, if you're going to shoot high velocity, or green tip ammo, I mean, I don't know what you expect.
Yeah. I mean, and to that, I mean,
there has to be common sense.
Yeah.
And if you are going to own a gun, you need to have a little common sense.
It's part of the responsibility of being a gun.
And I'm just being blunt. I'm going to be blunt as possible. If you're going to own a gun, you have to have a little common sense.
We got the stickers on there. We got the documentation. You can
only do so many warning stickers.
Dude, there's only so much you can do. This is, it's live ammunition. It is a gun. It is a gun owner's responsibility to ensure that they're taking the necessary precautions.
Shit can happen.
Shit does happen, and
are we allowed to cuss on this?
Fuck yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Just checking.
Good. Okay. Now, I wanted to make this show a lot about First Line because it's one of my favorite things to talk about, and I could do that.
You are very passionate, and that's what I really appreciate about it.
And I'm so
you actually keep me going.
I am so excited for it. And I just the timing, the market, the country. I mean, it's just everybody needs to see.
We've had a lot of kicks.
They keep right in the nuts,
keep kicking
over and over and over again. But you know what? We're still here. We're still making targets. We're still selling them. People still loving them. And the hope is that we can just continue in an upward trend to make this better.
Yeah, right? I don't know.
This is really good.
I love building stuff.
You do love building stuff.
And
we're going to get to that.
Every time we build one of these things, I feel like we set it up in the garage and we're done.
We do.
Right? We do. We set it up and we look at it and we're like, we crack a beer, we do a cheers, a salute, and just like that thing.
A good build day.
That is
completes it.
Yeah, it's just one of those things that's like you're proud of it, right?
And a lot of the pictures that we have, on social media are those days. Like when we just get done and just stand back and go, holy hell, look what we just made, right? Mm-hmm. And it's neat to me because my part is in the construction process is very minimal, but at the end of the day, it's like we did that. It's neat to see what we created, and I know how freaking cool it is, right? Mm-hmm. And it's a matter of making sure that everybody else understands that.
Yeah, and I feel like we just got to get in front of the right people, right? Yep. Like I said earlier, when it seems like we could have the Pinto over here in the corner somebody could buy, and then it seems like everybody always goes for the Ferrari. Mm-hmm. They're like, dude, I want that. Like, what's that cost? And you're like, you tell them, and they're usually shocked by it. Mm-hmm. But I feel like they usually come back to it, and then the feedback we get afterwards is like, I know, I love it. I love it. It's amazing, or whatever. And that to me is what's exciting too. Right, the building it, and then the feedback.
Yep, just getting in there,
good or bad,
know what you bought, and then understanding that that's probably unless you want to buy another one, which we definitely recommend getting more than one. But you don't have to. The one's
it's more and more fun when there's multiple.
On and off target.
We've had some days downrange where there's. I don't know how many do we have set up?
5 or 6.
We had a lot set up, and it seemed like it was.
You guys, I wish we could show you those videos. I wish we could. That was such a these times that we don't get to talk about really because the
it was private. But
it was so fun though. That was so.
It was amazing.
Yeah. So kind of switching gears a little bit. I know that the First Line brand is your one true love. There's no doubt about that. But you do have other ways of paying the bills, and you're in.
Yeah. First Line don't pay the bills. That's for sure.
It's not a moneymaker yet, right? But your day business. I don't know enough about it, and I was kind of enthralled. I wanted to talk a little bit about what it is that you do.
So we're going there.
Day, yeah.
Okay.
We can always come back to First Line. You just let me know. Switch the breaker, and we'll go back. But like I said,
First Line's way more fun to talk about.
I know, but this other business is super cool. You may have heard of it, you may not have, but it's KW Creative, right? And I'll let you pretty much just fill me in on what the hell.
Yeah, I'm a web and graphic designer, really by day. I do contract work and I'm just a web and graphic designer. So I develop websites for different.
Any cool ones? Where could we see your work?
Yeah, a lot of it's actually I can't talk about a lot of it.
It's scary.
Well, no, I do contract work.
Okay.
Right. So.
I wish I didn't bring it up.
Well, no, it's not that. It's just like it's not like portfolio pieces, right? I can't just this is my portfolio of all this stuff. It's contract work that I do for other companies.
Okay.
So like a company will contract me to help develop a site that they have a client for.
Okay.
And then I will develop it and help them build it out, make it something.
How did you get started in this though?
Well, I don't know. I grew up playing paintball.
Okay.
So, gosh, I played paintball for a lot of years. I traveled around the United States playing paintball, and competitively, and that's where it really started, right? Good. That's how I got into guns and all that stuff.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And for whatever reason, I don't even know why, but I wanted to build a website. I was probably 15 years old, maybe. Okay. I wanted to build a website for our paintball team.
Was it HTML or?
Yeah. Back then, shit. I don't remember the programs like Front Page or something like that was one of the programs, and it was all HTML.
So your MySpace was pretty cool at that by the time MySpace came out.
MySpace.
All the cool things, all the coding.
Yeah. So right. So that's how I first got into websites. Was I wanted to build a website for our paintball team.
That's still live today?
No, definitely not.
Sunsetted it?
Yeah, no,
finally, huh?
Definitely not. Those were the days, man.
On the marketing side, I mean, and I think that really plays
I'm not a marketer by any means.
No. But
some people come to me like, oh, you can market this. I'm not a big-time marketer. I'm really the behind-the-scenes developer kind of guy. Same thing with First Line, right? I don't want to be the face. I mean, I'm not the face of anything. Like, I just want to build it.
This was a lot of work to get you to even come here.
100%. Yeah, I didn't even want to be here right now.
I know. Mm-hmm. But I think I'm glad you did it. Really, it's pretty awesome.
We'll see how it comes out at the end.
I'm glad you did. And I think that I attribute that to your wife kind of,
definitely.
Half-cocked.
I'm pretty sure she's on your payroll or something.
Yeah, she's we're shouting her out right now. Rachel Williams, the Matador. So we are super pumped. I mean, like I said, I did want to run through the web design, the creative solution, the KW stuff. I know not necessarily is something you wanted to go into depths about, but kind of get your origins because the website's super cool. And I know you spent a lot of time developing that website.
Yeah, it's fun. The First Line website's probably too much for really. Like, I don't know. I kick myself all the time. I have a hard time doing anything for myself or us or First Line or the company, anything, right? Like, everything I do for myself or for First Line, it's never good enough. I'm never happy with any of it. Like, I'm never proud of any of it, right? The branding for First Line, I can't tell you how many revisions and how long it took because I went to bed at night and was never happy with it. You know what I mean?
Definitely one thing about you for sure.
And I'm just very, I don't have a hard time doing anything for myself or for anything that I'm associated with. Mm-hmm. And at the end, though, I'm happy with the First Line logo. I feel like it came out. The logo I'm happy with the F and the 1.
I'm so proud to wear that hat every day.
Maybe some people don't see it in there, but I feel like that's what someday they'll see it and be like, that's. I get it. You know what I mean?
I feel like you have something, and it's like it's the product, it's the brand, it's the company. I mean, it's just a matter of time, getting that in front of the right people because it's not something small. It is something that it will be. There's no doubt in my mind. It's just time. And that's one of the hardest things about being a business owner, right?
Well, and that's a lot of my downfall. My downfall is time.
Yeah.
Right? I'm very distracted. I'll be the first to admit it. I have a lot going on. I'm very distracted. I'm very fly by the seat of my pants type person. And that's just, that's probably the biggest downfall is my focuses aren't always in the right places at the right time.
We got a lot of pokers in the fire, right? I
mean, family. You got your family. I got the design or websites, and I should say the business trying to pay the bills, right?
Right.
Trying to make sure I can make the truck payment every month.
Right.
Do you know what I'm saying? Like it's that stuff isn't first line, right? First line's not making my truck payment.
Right. Yet.
Yeah. So it's more of me trying to make sure I make the first line payment every month.
Right.
Right. And that's the reality of it. And so that's probably the biggest thing is I get distracted. I have a lot going on.
It's really easy to do. I mean, honestly, and it's hard. I mean, I find myself personally, I mean, there's a lot of times where it's like you could be doing this differently or doing more of this or whatever that thing is, but it's like, it's much easier to go to something that's actually attributing to, like you're saying, in your case, especially, something that's actually paying the bills. Right. And that's one of the things that I really, really do love honing in on this show is it's Bourbon and Ballistics. Right. But it's about family. It's about balancing the work life budget. Like what that looks like for a dad, for a mother, for a husband and wife. It's fun to me to look at how successful companies are working, how they're utilizing their time management, how they're utilizing the resources that they have, and making that work in a positive annotation, right? So with anything, I mean, you guys definitely have full plates, and that's one of the things I do want to talk about. We'll get into it a little bit later, but your role as a crew chief.
Oh, we're going there.
Yeah, and I'm gonna. This is probably gonna be my favorite part. I mean, I don't get me wrong. I love talking about targets. I will do it all day. We could do 101 of these. I'll get you 5 times a month on this show just to talk about first line. But you as a dad, you as the crew chief, as the pit boss, as the whatever, the captain of the whatever happens in the pits,
yeah. The real boss is probably the wife, right?
Yeah, no, we all know that.
She steers the ship.
We all know that, right?
She's the one that makes us do this every weekend.
So
right?
we can talk at this point. I mean, it's safe to say that you guys are vested in racing, the racing community, right? In multiple facets. Let us just talk about that for a second, and then because it's kind of outside of my wheelhouse. So
my kid. It's really my kid, right?
Our sponsored athlete.
Yeah.
Right? Kory Williams.
Yeah, so my kid, he's he wants to drive everything under the sun. If he can drive a Zamboni, he will drive the Zamboni. Like, he wants to race and drive everything. And that's what we do every weekend.
You do.
I mean, I don't know. We were gone 40 some weekends or 30, high 30s or 40 weekends this year racing with him. And I say it all the time. I say it to people. Friends ask us, how do I do it? How do we do this? And I look at him and I don't know. Right? I wish he sucked.
Right.
Like, I tell people that. I go, I wish he sucked. Then I wouldn't feel like I need to take him to these big races. And
what is he? Before we get any farther, what is he racing?
So he races go-karts, right? So he races pavement go-karts and dirt outlaw go-karts.
Okay.
Right? Outlaw karts. And I don't know. Like I said, I wish he sucked because I wish I wish he loved basketball or soccer or something else. And we tried all that, right? We've tried all of it. Our kids play basketball together, And he loves to race. He loves to drive. He loves to go fast, and that's his thing. And I don't know. Yeah, so that's what we do, and that takes up a lot of time.
Yeah,
and it's a lot of distraction.
Right? Yeah,
for first line, it's a lot of distraction for the business that pays the bills. It's a lot of distraction for everything, and it's.
I think and this is a good time. I mean, when on the first line social medias, I mean, when I say that we are proud of Caden, I mean that collectively as us as a family, because when I post that stuff, when I repost his stuff, I mean, this kid is an absolute freaking animal, and it's just a matter of time, or funding, whatever happens.
I don't know if I'll ever be rich enough for him to really see his dreams.
Good, and it's amazing to see. And so when I wanted everybody to know that when that stuff gets posted, I know that's what you obviously as your son, you got to be uber proud of how well he's doing, and mom's out there kicking ass too on the road stuff. But the reality of it is that knowing you guys and getting to be a part of that family, it means the world, and we are so proud and so excited to see what he can do. So it's not necessarily like when I post that stuff, I always think probably there's a couple people out there like, oh, Kory, or somebody's posting this on behalf of Caden or whatever, but it's me and our family out there just going, holy hell, this dude is out there kicking the shit out of this thing. And I just wish all the best for him. So I just want to put that there real quick.
Yeah, we'll appreciate that.
We're super proud of him.
It's cool. It's humbling. It's flattering.
He's awesome.
It's like I said, I wish he sucked. Because as a parent, I feel like there's a lot of pressure on me to make sure I expose him and take him to these big national events. We've been in Indiana and Texas, and we've been all over the freaking country this year.
What are some of the sanctions or what is some of the stuff that he does, some of the races that he does, the circuits or How does that work? When you guys, Indiana, who hosts?
That was a grand national event. Okay. It's a national event.
Put on by
people from all over the world.
Okay. That was a big one, right? It was
probably the biggest, one of the biggest races we've ever been to. Okay. I want to say over 400 entries.
Wow.
It was massive,
And Texas wasn't much smaller though, was it?
Texas was smaller than the Indiana one, but it was still a grand national. It was still a national event. And when I say national, it's not a regional, right? So we've run a lot of regional races this year, up and down the West Coast. So let's say from Southern California all the way up to Oregon, Nevada, our West Coast region. Okay. He raced in 3 different series this year in pavement, and he won all three championships. Every championship we put him in, he won all of them.
Animal. He's an animal.
And
love it.
And that's it. I don't know. I put out he put out some stats, or we were putting some stats together for a New Year's post, because he has his own little social media deal he's doing.
Yeah, where can we find him?
At Kory Williams Racing.
Okay.
So Kory Williams Racing.
If you're interested, this kid is the future. He's a bad little dude.
I don't know if he's the future. I don't know if I'll ever be able to you get take him there, but right? I'm gonna do whatever I can for him because he's my kid, right? Yeah. So he's gonna have to go out there and find himself a sugar daddy. There ain't no doubt about it. Mm-hmm. And
not a cheap sport.
But it's possible, right? Talent can take you a long ways, but talent can't take you can take you only so far.
Right.
Definitely, he has all these goals, right? He wants to be he loves dirt racing. Right, he loves
over the road stuff.
there's a lot of competition. There's a lot of fast kids out there. So it'll be interesting. I don't know. We're just doing it to make memories, I guess. That's what we're doing it for.
Every weekend.
Yeah. Every fucking week.
You guys are absolutely vested in so balls deep in making this thing and work for him, and that's so neat. I mean,
he's my only kid, right? He's an only child, and that has a lot to do with it.
Yeah,
and that's just being honest, right?
And that's to the point. I mean, the original point. I mean, it's like you look at what you do for your kids, and you guys, you guys devote almost every. I mean, we are fortunate enough to be here tonight, because it's shit starts week after next. I mean, you guys just all of a sudden just disappear. We don't see you again, right?
Yeah, well, I think coming up, we're gone 6 weeks in a row.
Yeah, and so you guys are out there busting your ass. I mean,
thank you to my wife for scheduling that. Yeah.
Out there turning wrench on both the cars, and that's, I mean, the seasons overlap.
And then you started this with me being a crew chief. Like, I try real hard, but I don't know half the shit of what I'm doing.
But you're learning.
I'm learning on the fly.
It's still making
it's him that's making us look good. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like, because I'm trying real hard, but it's him that's it's crazy. It's crazy to think about. It really is.
It's cool. I mean, it is neat to like what little we get to witness, but just out there, the road course stuff, and we haven't got to see the dirt yet, but which
you should come.
Where would we? Where's the closest place we could go in near time?
So in a couple weeks, he's got a race up at the Livestock Event Center.
Oh,
and I think it's the first weekend of February.
Oh shit! Yeah. Well, maybe we'll go to that.
Yeah,
up in Reno.
At the Livestock Event Center.
Livestock Event Center. Okay.
Yeah, it's called the High Desert Hustle.
Who's putting that on?
It's a promoter down in California, and he's putting it on. Yeah, it's a big race. It's gonna be a big one. There's already over 200 entries, I think.
Oh, really? How many classes?
Gosh, it's probably over 5 or 6 classes.
Yeah. And when is it again?
The High Desert Hustle is what he's calling it.
Okay.
Yeah.
And when?
February, the first weekend of February. So I want to say first, second, third, or something like that.
Well, we could probably link to that. Probably on the web.
I'm not sure. I have to look it up, but I'm probably highdeserthustle.com.
We'll link to that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, link to that.
Yeah. We'll link to it.
But
that sounds fun.
He's only 11. My kid's only 11, so he's in the 250 class for that race. But so his class will pay like $3,000 to win. The open class will pay like $10,000 to win. So it's a big deal. There's gonna be people there, or racers there, I should say, from. I would say all
first
over.
Year of this one, right?
Yeah, it's an inaugural event, so it'll be
exciting.
I know there's some entries from the Midwest
Oh.
coming in. So, yeah, it'll be a good one.
Good. So, we're talking the first week of February, Livestock Event Center, Reno, Nevada.
Check.
Kicking ass.
If we make the A main and make a couple $100, or the kid makes a couple $100, I'm cool with that.
He's got to keep the wheels turning, right?
Yeah. Because dirt's fairly new to him. Like, he is way better at pavement racing as far as road course style racing. Like, that's where he started, but then he wanted to go faster and he wanted to try dirt, and here we are. And he's catching on quick.
Yeah. He
really is. He's doing good. He's won a couple races, but good. in the pavement world, he's won a lot more races.
Yeah. Like you said, he's fairly new to the dirt stuff, and there's, I'm sure, a pretty steep learning curve doing that stuff. But yeah, I mean, like I said, we're super excited for him and proud of what he's doing out there. And it'd be really fun.
I didn't realize I was going to go into this.
No, and it's we're just I want to talk about a little bit because it's just your aspects. Your
my life is what you're saying,
right? I want to delve deeper into what you do, who you are, and that's the thing. I mean, you're out there busting your ass.
Why I'm in the garage till midnight.
You don't ever
not building targets.
You are pretty much Go-Karts. Edward. What's his face from Twilight? You don't come out of the garage into the sun. But the thing is that, you keep yourself busy. You have built something really awesome in the first line realm. And like I said, I could speak to that till I'm blue in the face. It's just a matter of making sure that people understand how freaking awesome this thing is. And all I am is essentially a cheerleader at this point, making sure that the things get painted somewhat pretty, ground down, like this.
I feel like you got the grinder down.
I'm trying, but the thing is that at the end of the day,
I'm trying to get you to weld.
Well, I got a helmet and it's really cool. It's got a freaking eagle on it.
It does have an eagle.
Battery's probably dead, but you know what? That's beside the point. I can buy a new battery off Amazon. Not a big deal. But yeah, I probably should be welding.
Just put that in the cart. I'll push the button for you.
Yeah, we'll do that tonight. So the point is, like I said, I want to delve into a little bit more about what makes you tick, the things that you're doing out there, and the majority of it based around the fact that you built something badass. First line ballistics is probably one of my favorite discussions to have, and I don't want to beat a dead horse, but firstlineballistics.com. Go there, check it out. Check out the website that Kory built. Speaking of KW Creative, he's out there putting in, I don't know how many man hours you put in that website. It was not a fast one. You definitely spent your time on it, and it's super bitching.
Yeah, it needs more work, though. But that's the
nature of the beast.
Like I said, I look at everything, and I always feel like it needs more.
Mm-hmm. And so we'll end this with Team Whiskey. Appreciate it. It's been a good drink the entire conversation. Kory, thank you for...
This was a lot for me.
Getting roped into coming on the show.
This was a lot.
First week of February, Caden's going to be out there kicking ass. Caden at Kory Williams Racing on Instagram.
You can go to CadenWilliamsRacing.com.
You got he's got
his own .com.
Check him out.
Yeah.
Always looking for some really cool sponsors. And we'll see him out there, hopefully, kicking ass. And if can't make it out to Reno, I don't know how far we're actually broadcasting, but he's going to be probably promoting on the YouTube and stuff like that. That he'll have some sort of footage, right? The GoPro.
Caden, he'll probably put something together. I feel like I'm trying to steer him in that direction.
Yeah.
Like if you want to do that, you need to do it. Like I don't have the time.
Yeah, Brody is a promoter.
You know what? And I thought about that. Yeah. Brody came to one race with us this year, and I told him.
Put him on there for whatever. He'll collect some.
Maybe that's it. Brody just come hang out with us for the whole weekend.
Yeah,
you can let him get out of school.
You can have him. Yeah. Yeah.
You can let him come out of
school. Yeah.
Can he miss a couple days of school?
Yeah.
Let's ask Mom over there. Can he miss a couple days of school to come do some video stuff?
Be part of the pit crew.
Brody's good at that. Brody's got a good vision.
He has a good time coming out there with Caden. So seeing his buddy get out there and kick ass. So
I enjoyed.
I hope that we can't. Yeah, we'll relinquish him a few times.
He came with us one race for sure. He came with us over the hill, and I had a good time. Brody was a good kid, and I think he had a good time.
Yeah, he had fun. Didn't stop talking about it for a while. So, all right, firstlineballistics.com. Key takeaways. Team Whiskey. Go check them out. I think it's
a good drink. It's a good drink.
Had a blast with it. Yeah. And this is definitely not our first bottle of it. Will most certainly not be our last. It's a staple in this house. And we hope to, see what this event that comes in here to the Tahoe Blu Event Center in Lake Tahoe. We will be there and excited to see what that show ends up shaping up like.
I'm probably going to be at the races.
You're not going to be there? Yeah, it's going to probably be Bree and I. So if you're looking for a face, it's not going to be Kory's. We'll see. We'll see what ends up happening there. So anyways, Kory, thank you.
Cheers, bud. I appreciate it. Thanks.
In the Blue Ridge Hills in Kentucky, when I was out